Beautiful. So let's get this party started, shall we? Now we're clean. So let's find a comfortable seated position here. As you can see in this side cam, I'm actually sitting on one of my blocks. These are handy. By the way, if you scroll over the screen, if you're on Twitch, I've got my little Amazon thing set up there for potential gear that you might want. But we just want to get comfortable in this position. Whether you're sitting down on the floor with elevated hips, maybe you're just sitting at your desk in your chair, we can do these first few moves all together. So hands on the thighs. We're sitting up nice and tall here. We're just going to use these first few moments to get into our body a little bit so we can close the eyes, cut off that visual sense, and start to heighten our sense of body awareness. With the vision cut off here, start to draw your attention to the breath. Really elongating the inhale, filling into the belly, and a long, even exhale. Let's try a few of those. Big inhale. Nice, long exhale. Right, and as we continue that breath pattern, and as we breathe, see how much you can feel your entire torso inflating. First down into the belly and all the way around the waist. And then at the top of your breath, we feel that rib cage expanding. We can start to tune into those subtleties of sensation. What does it feel like to have your rib cage spread out or reach the top of your breath? Maybe you feel that stretch up near the collarbones. Maybe you feel restricted in your breathing here today. Nothing wrong with any of these sensations necessarily. We just want to practice picking up on those sensations, tuning in. And when we take time to stretch out, especially that exhale, we get into our parasympathetic nervous system, right? Slowing down our rest, digest, and repair. Good. We'll start with our neck circles. Drop the chin down to your chest, slowly taking that head all the way around. Right, moving with ease here. No need to force anything if there's any pain or discomfort as you move through the neck. And we don't have to. You don't have to do it. Or, again, we can make it smaller. And taking note of where you may feel a little extra tightness. Right? We're just kind of taking inventory. Oh, that right side of the neck feeling a little tighter today. And once we gather this data, then we can start to focus on it a little bit more. Let's go in the opposite direction. Yeah, nice. So I've been on the computer a lot over the weekend, just updating my stream and such. So I feel a little extra tightness around my neck. Good. Let's come back to center with the head. Crown of the head being pulled up to the sky. See how I can sit up a little bit taller when I do that. As we inhale, reach the arms up. Maybe you can bring the palms together, but really we're feeling for that expansion of the rib cage. Exhale, arms down alongside the body. Maintain that tall posture here. Let's do that a few more times. Inhale, big reach, and you can do this sitting at your chair as well. Exhale. Panda, I see you typing in there. I cannot read all of that right now. I'll try later, but I can't. Not to minimize what's going on for you. Hey, Pilates Mama, Esty, welcome, welcome, welcome. Last one here, really taking it nice and slow. Actually, I should give her one of these. Sup. Very nice. One more time. We inhale, big reach up, but this time exhale, bring hands in front of you. We're going to come into all fours, hands and knees. Okay. You made it, Pilates. Thank you. No, you don't have to apologize for talking. I just can't respond to everything right away. So as we inhale, we're going to arch the back. We're looking up. But don't worry, I'll have like a post-class Q&A that we can chat all we want. Exhale, rounding the back. Inhale, big arch, big arch, big arch. Feel that body. Exhale. Ah. Good. You can keep going with this up and down action of the spine, right? We're just getting flexion and extension. We're just keeping that spine and all of those joints supple. I like to go a little freestyle with it, right? Make it like a little slow dance. I'm going side to side, forward and back. I'm bringing my head and neck into the equation. You may even move your body, right? If I bring both my fingertips to the left edge of the mat and then go for it, totally different sensation, right? So permission to get weird, as I like to say, and feel your body guiding you through this. Sailor Daro, what's going on? You won't be able to join today's class live, but I'll follow along with the VOD. Excellent. And that, we were just talking about that before with Rose. It's so nice about Twitch, where we can have these classes at our fingertips at a time that maybe works a little bit better for us. Super cool. Yes, exactly. The Stream Deck is really handy to do things like that from away from the computer. Really nice. All right, so let's come back to our tabletop position. The hands are just under the shoulders here, hips underneath. Now I'm going to take that left heel and kick it up towards the sky. Now, it's really easy to just kind of dump into your low back to get that high kick, but see if we can zip up through the trunk, really brace around the belly as if you were doing a plank and kick to the sky. So it's this kind of tug of war action, I like to say, where I'm trying to push up, which will cause me to arch, but then I'm trying to brace my belly. Ugh. And so it's this, I want to kick up and I want to crunch down at the same time. It takes practice to be able to do kind of two opposing actions in the body at once, but it's possible. You're just lurking today while you're at work. Nice. Thank you, Pilates Mama, for modding. Good. And I want you to just feel for that hamstring and that glute, right? Our booty and the back of the leg there. We're just cooking. We're preheating the oven here a little bit. A work lurk. Oh, yes. Bravo, Gina. Bravo. I appreciate it. Good. Let's lower that left leg down. Let's do the same thing on the right. So we're flexing those toes, kicking the heel to the sky. Notice in your body, if you kick up, or as you kick up, if we start to get some of that movement coming out of the low back. It's okay if it happens. Then we can just try to stitch that hip bone and rib closer together. Kind of creates that crunching action so that we're a little more active through the belly and we're actively kicking up through the heel. A little 2 for 1. And we're breathing. See what you feel in the back of the leg and the booty. Good, just feeling that breath there. Wonderful. Excellent. Let's bring that leg back down. Let's come into our downward facing dog. So I'm going to bring my hands to the mat with fingers spread wide. Curl the toes under. Send the hips up into the air. Woo! Hello, down dog. First down dog of the day. So I'm going to let my knees go a little bit more soft. I'm going to let my heels come up from the mat a little bit more so that I can ease into this position. A really nice way to kind of settle into this pose, which is just kind of like an upside down V. Maybe it feels nice to pedal the feet here. And really see if you can get that chest to press through the arms. Again, no need to force anything to pain or discomfort, but we do want to kind of flirt with the edge of discomfort. I shouldn't say edge of discomfort. I should say we want to kind of flirt with that edge of effort. Just really learning our body here. Headed to PT, nice, right on, Queen. Thanks for stopping by for a little bit. I'll see you singing sometime soon, I'm sure. Check out Queen Electro for some great Twitch sings. We also got some other great singers in here. Pumpkin Panda does some Twitch singing. Gina Marina is getting into it. I just downloaded it, so we're going to get on there. Now we're going to tiptoe the feet to the front of the mat. We're in our forward fold. And again, here, it's not critical that the legs are straight, because that might really round us into position. Sometimes a nice forward fold can have a generous bend in the knees so that the body can really hang here, so that we're not limited right behind the backs of the knees. Sometimes with that leg straightened out, we get that tightness sensation right behind the backs of the knees, because we've got the calves and the hamstrings both crossing that knee joint there. So as we bend the knees, now we can send that sensation of stretch more into the meat of the hamstrings rather than right behind the knee. All right, we're letting the head dangle. I like to shake my head yes and no here because we're in a slight inversion. So we get this kind of traction through the neck where those neck vertebrae, those cervical vertebrae, aren't really loaded with the weight of our head. So it can be nice to just feel that freedom there. Pumpkin Panda doesn't sing, he just makes noises. And hopefully they're not too painful. That's okay. Isn't that what singing is? Just a bunch of noises. All right, so we're going to bring the hands to the shins. Inhale, lifting halfway up, and it's really an arch of the spine that happens. Exhale, we're folding down. Let's use an inhale to come all the way up. Arms reach out wide and then up towards the sky. Exhale, hands alongside the body. Nice. We're going to do a little lower body flow, kind of keeping it mellow here still. Reach as you inhale. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, hands to the shins. We're lifting halfway up. And exhale. Bend the knees, plant the hands. We're going to step back just with that left foot. Drop that back knee. We're going to inhale, come up to our low lunge. I like to uncurl the toes here. I'll leave that to you. Breathing in. Breathing out. Inhale. Exhale. Good. Now we're going to inhale, reach up through the fingertips. Exhale, arms open to a T. Active twist to your right. So whichever side that front leg is on, we're twisting to that side there. Feel your obliques drawing you into this rotation here. Breathing in. Breathing out. Inhale, get tall. Exhale, maybe a little bit deeper in your twists. Let's do one more of those. Breathe it in. Breathe it out. Oh, yeah, I feel my obliques and my abs working. Good. Inhale, reach the arms to the sky. Reach up. Exhale, hands to the ground. We're going to straighten that front leg. It doesn't have to go all the way straight in any of these poses here. As long as you feel something in the back of the leg there, that's going to work for you. It can be tough. If you're extra stiff or if you've got really long legs, it can be hard to reach the floor, and that's where these blocks come in handy. So I'll just use them here. And in this straightened position, feel free to play with your ankle positions. They can go up, down like an accelerator pedal. Maybe they circle around. I'm trying to give you some more close-up view on that side cam. Hopefully you can see it there. But just notice what sensations arise with this combination of orientation. Yeah. Okay, fair enough. Fair enough, Panda. The oblique. What is the oblique? The oblique muscles are part of our abdominal wall on the side body here. The fibers run diagonally, and our muscles work in the line of their fibers. So we've got this X pattern. X gonna give it to you, right? And so they help us to rotate. Because they're diagonal, they can twist the trunk, and they can help us side bend. So that is a good question there. Thank you for asking that, Panda. Sometimes I've been training for 10 years. Sometimes I gotta simplify things down. Oh, hello. Thank you for the host, Queen Electro. I appreciate it. Good, let's shift forward again. Bending into that front knee, we're gonna come into our high lunge, which involves us lifting that back knee. Whoop. So right here is our little waypoint. This is a runner's lunge, but as soon as we lift our arms, we are in our high lunge, okay? So just do me a favor here. Back out of that front knee bend so that you can set up a very straight back leg. And I'm really feeling my quad, that front of the thigh, firm up. Give me that good stretch. Keep that in place and then rebend into your front knee. You may not be able to go as deep. However, we get so much more out of this back hip flexor, this left hip flexor here. Moon 24, hey, what's going on? How you doing, Kate? Welcome. Or Moon, I should say. Good. Let's take one more breath here. And exhale, we're going to bring both hands down to the inside of that right foot. And then I'm going to take my heel and toe and get that right foot to the outer edge of the mat. Let's drop that back knee to the floor. So as the hips shift forward, boom, I'm going to walk my hands over to the left edge of my mat. And you'll notice that my back heel, boop, just kind of drops to the inner edge here. If you need to pad your knee with anything, feel free to do that. Hopefully you can see what's going on in the that side view there. Kind of look at that position there. I do have a small Pilates ball. I do a lot of work on that gorgeous ball. If you're ever in my stream for mobility and chill, I do a lot of abdominal massage with that. In fact, I'd like to do more dedicated streams to just using that ball for core work. So I'm thinking of adding like a core class into my schedule. Moon is actually an in-person student of mine. Now she's frequenting Twitch, which is cool. So let's come back to the front of the mat. We're going to plant our hands, pick up that back knee, send the right leg back so that we're in our plank. Ooh. We're going to lower the knees. If you know full chaturanga, up dog, down dog, you can do that vinyasa. Otherwise, we'll lower the knees first. Then your chest and chin are going to drop between the hands. Keep your elbows in tight, though. As you inhale, slide everything forward. Here's our cobra. And exhale. There you go, Panda. See, already thrown out the innuendos. So we're in our downward facing dog here. By the way, if at any time you need to take a rest, I tend to get into a pose and then chit chat a little bit, which can make it a little tough for you guys. Feel free to rest whenever you need. This is just an example of a resting pose. This is child's pose. Panda, yeah. Panda walks to the naughty corner. That's right. So as we're in this down dog again, maybe you notice the difference between your right and your left side. Hopefully you do, because we've only done the right side. And again, we're just finding that nice controlled breathing again. We're going to make our way to the top of the mat. If you can jump forward, you can do that. Otherwise, I'm going to tiptoe my feet to the top of the mat. So we're in this forward fold. Let's just hang for a second. Pilates mama likes to watch other streams
on her HGTV. Not herself, though. I know. Well, Pumpkin, you're just looking for those innuendos, so I don't have to work very hard. You're ready for those alley-oops. Let's inhale, come up halfway, hands to the shins. Try to arch your spine. It's easy to just kind of like half roll up, but consider sending your belly button down and your shoulders up.
I like to imagine aiming my chest bone forward. And then on your exhale breath, we just fold over again. Inhale, sweep the arms, reach up. Just like when we started sitting. Exhale, arms alongside the body. Let's do the same thing on the other side, shall we? Breathe it in, reach it tall. Forward fold, exhale. Downward facing dog. Inhale, arch. Exhale, bend knees to plant your hands on the ground or on blocks. Big step back with your right foot. Drop that back knee. We're coming into our low lunge. Inhale. So arms are reaching, hips driving forward, but do be mindful of the pelvis, right? I'm going to use my block to kind of emulate my pelvic position. It's easy to shift forward and let that pelvis kind of spill forward. But from here, if you can see I'm steering it with the block to give you a little added visual. But as I roll my pelvis back, it actually sets my position up a little further back, but I feel a lot more intensity out of that hip flexor. So we can do a lot by manipulating our pelvic position. As I'm sure Pilates Mama will tell you, that's where I really started to appreciate the nuances of Pilates, right? So we're in our low lunge, pelvic, mindful of the pelvis, I should say. Good, we're inhaling here and exhaling. Inhale, exhale. One more breath. Good. As you exhale this time, arms to a T, you're twisting to the left. So whichever leg is in front, that's the side you're going to. Staying here. So remember, we're using these obliques, which run kind of in this X pattern here. Right? They help to pull us over. So these muscles that I'm kind of gripping with my left hand, all of these muscles here are helping us to rotate. So inhale, we're taller through the crown. Exhale, a little bit deeper through our twist via these muscles of the trunk. Breathing in. And exhale, your final twist here. Good. Inhale, reach up, unwind. Exhale, hands back to the floor or to your blocks as we shift up and back. Okay, we're looking to straighten that front leg as much as your body will allow. It doesn't need to go to fully straighten. If the hands are a little higher on blocks, for example, then we can straighten that leg out a little bit more if we bring the floor closer to you. And if you're one of those super bendies that can have hands on the floor and straighten your leg, what you can work on is trying to lift your chest and straighten your spine. That will add intensity. And again, we can play with our ankle position. I thought you just... Is it safe to come up hard like that? You mean with a straight spine? Is that what you're talking about? I'm not sure which one you're referring to. Both actions of that spine, unloaded, if you're being mindful, they can be useful for you. It's not like against the rules of the body to lift in certain ways. Now, if we're doing that repeatedly and unknowingly, then we can run into issues. But in the context of like mindful movement, we can hinge with a straight spine, we can hinge with a rounded spine. You'll even see some lifters lifting heavy loads with a rounded back because, you know what, our bodies can do that as long as we're conditioned for them. But it's when we try to pick something up just on a whim with our spine rounded that we can end up throwing out our back. With the straight spine, actually that's probably going to be a little bit better for you in the long run, especially if you're learning how to, Panda's talking about coming up with that straight spine. If we learn how to come up using our glutes and our hamstrings, right? So we get the lifted chest, but we're actually using the hips to pull us up. Good question though. All right, where were we here? We're going into our high lunge. So we shift forward again. We're rebending into that front leg. Back leg lifts up. Okay, here's our little pit stop. This is our runner's lunge here with the hands on the floor. But I'm going to come up into high lunge here where the arms are lifted. So now I don't really have the support of my arms. I'm holding more of my body weight via my legs. And just like we did on the other side, go ahead and straighten up through that front leg so we can really emphasize that straight back leg there. Ka-ding! Then rebend without losing any of that straightness through the back leg. You may notice you can't go as low because a lot of times we'll go low, but that back leg will be a little soft. So I really want to focus on the straight leg, prioritize that, and then maybe just be a little bit higher. Can you take me higher? We're breathing. Okay, are we done in this pose? I sure as heck am. Inhale, reach the fingertips to the sky. Exhale, hands come down on the inside of the left foot, and we'll need to heel toe that foot to the outer edge of our mat. Back knee drops down here. Okay, I'm actually going to turn so you can see this from the forward angle again. So we're on the left edge of our mat, back knee down. We're going to walk our hands to the right edge of the mat, but keep your left knee pointed off the front edge of the mat. Yes, good. Subu, you got it. That's looking good. Gina, nice. Looking fine. Oh, yeah, so Pumpkin's asking if I kind of like whip myself up with a straight back. I guess, yeah, there is some shearing forces there that could promote a slip disc. Chances are you were probably on that road anyway, if that were to happen. But in doing that, in keeping a straight back hinge, you're actually keeping your spine organized, and you're teaching your hips how to hinge and extend from the hips, aka, so my hip is flexed, now it's extended. So this action, these muscles here, butt and hamstring, work to bring the torso upright. We can talk more on that later though. Marcel, welcome. Thank you. Marcel helped me a lot this weekend. I was watching him set up his stream, and a lot of what you see on my screen today was thanks to Marcel sending me a couple of key links that helped me figure it out. So thank you, Marcel. I appreciate it. And thank you for stopping by from Switzerland, right? You're in Switzerland? Good. So let's walk our hands to the mat again. We're going to step back into our plank. If you want to take a full vinyasa, you can. If you know what that is. Otherwise, I'm going to just cue the knees, chest, chin again. We're going to lower the knees. Chest and chin drop between the hands here. We're exhaling. Inhale. Flatten the belly. Lift the chest here. Cobra. And exhale. Downward facing dog. Panda, you think I like the color green? You would be right. Our logo is green. And so Yoga Playground theme is green. But you'll start to see patio play is a yellow theme. Mobility and chill is a blue theme. I'm telling you guys, I was really working this weekend on getting my overlays set up, so you'll start to see those. But Yoga Playground is a green theme. We're breathing. Hopefully we should feel a little more even through the hips. Inhaling here. Exhale. Breathe it in.
And breathe it out. Good. Let's inhale. Raise that right leg up into the air. As high as it'll go. As we exhale, bring the knee towards the chin. Our aim is to step that foot between the hands. Ba-boom! Thank you, Pilates Mama. Yes, you can ask me. I'll tell you how I did everything in the Q&A. We're going to drop that back heel, coming into our Warrior 2. So my front foot is facing forward, back foot is off to a 90-degree angle. I'm going to windmill my arms up to a T. Bam! And I'm going to try to get them level. I can use my screen here to make them even with my bed, which is nice. And then we're gazing down, right fingertips. Okay, so a little subtle cue here to maximize a little bit more of the stretch. Imagine your chest turning away while your head, so your chest rotating to the left as your head rotates to the right. A lot of times we'll see kind of this action. You can see it in the side view. My chest has actually turned. But think about it this way. In our Warrior 2, everything from our neck down is kind of in this thin, kind of 2D frontal plane here. And keeping that in that plane and then rotating that head. Now we get this really nice neck stretch here. Breathe it in. Exhale. Let's come into our side angle. So we're going to bend the elbow, tip and bend and rest it on the thigh here. Left arm comes up and over. You can see that I try to create a straight line from my left fingertips down to my left toes. Okay? If your hips are open, you can start to go down a little bit lower. If you have a yoga block, you can bring that to the inside, lower level, or to the floor. If you're more advanced and you're down at the floor, you want to go for the bind. We take that elbow, we turn the thumb in, and I'm grabbing around my back. I just got a super loud shoulder crack there. This is way more advanced, so don't feel like you have to do that. I just wanted to show some options. But I'm going to hang out here. Good. Let's inhale, come all the way up. Straighten that front leg. Let's bring hands to the hips. Rotate your right toes off to the left edge of your mat. So both toes are parallel right now. Yeah, you like that bind? It's a nice one. Let's inhale. Get tall through the waist. Exhale, hinging forward. Hands maybe come to the floor. If you have something in front of you to bring the floor up to you to make this a little more accessible, please do so. You don't have to get to the ground there. It's not a fun yoga class when you pull something. It's not a fun day when you pull something. Yes, Marcel, definitely sharing the knowledge. T-man in the shape of a T. I like it. Good night, Marcel. Thank you for popping in and saying hi. Am I made of plasticine or something? What the heck? I've just been doing this stuff for a long time. Good. Let's come up right here. Hands to the hips. Straight spine. Panda, I'm thinking of you. I'm going to use my butt muscles. Squeeze them tight. To lift that whole trunk up. So that's what we have to start to tap into to make that straight spine lift a safer movement for our spine. Thank you for bringing that up, though, because somebody else may have had that question. Same orientation of the feet. We're just going to turn, of the legs. The left foot is going to turn towards the back of the mat. And we're going to open into our Warrior 2. Actually, you know what? Let's come back to the top of the mat. I want to flow. I want to add in a little vinyasa. So scratch that, reverse it. We're going to turn towards the front of the mat. Big step to the top of the mat. That's called calling an audible, folks. All right, let's flow. We're going to get down into the other side. Inhale, big swoop of the arms. Feel the rib cage expanding wide. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lifting up. Exhale, plant the hands. Step back. Bit-doop, bit-doop. You can flow through a full vinyasa if you know it. Knees, chest, chin is the one we've been doing, so I'll demo full. For a chaturanga, we lower forward, then halfway down, like halfway down a push-up. I flip my toes. Inhale,
Straighten the arms, lift the chest. You can see my thighs are floating here. And then exhale, I lift my hips up, push down into the floor. And I'm in my downward facing dog. My downward facing fog. Gina made a really cool downward facing dog emote. There was an error with it, so it didn't get approved, but it should be, that's my tier 3 emote, should be around here soon. No, Panda, you don't need to feel bad. I'm just kind of catching the comments as I can comment on them. Like if we're holding down dog, I have a few moments to respond to comments. But if I'm teaching a little bit of a sequence, it's a little harder to. Downward facing dog, that's right. So that left leg comes into the air this time, but you don't need to feel bad if I don't answer. Good. So let's exhale. We're going to bend that left knee, bring it forward. The aim is to step it between the hands. You may not be able to get there. It might land halfway up, so just use your hand to get it the rest of the way there. We're going to drop that back heel down. And we'll come into our warrior 2 on the other side. I don't mean to turn my back on you folks, but I will. I'll bring this here so I can read chat from my bed. Oh, no, I'll answer when I can there, Panda, no problem. So again, let's think of our body as that 2D shape or structure. So the knee opens outward. If you look at the side view, I'm going to try to make myself as narrow as possible, which means I'm not rotating my chest because then I've opened the chest. So my chest is off the right edge of the mat, and then just turn the chin so that we're gazing down those left fingertips. Hi. Good, warrior 2. Extended side angle is our next pose. So we're just going to bend our left elbow, tip over so that our elbow rests on our thigh here. Right arm comes up and over. Now it's tempting in this shape to just like hunch into your shoulder. You can see in my left shoulder, it's right up by my ears. So you always want to be pushing down into the floor there to give your neck some space. Again, I'm in that long line here. This is kind of option number 1. Option number 2 would be going down to a block. Option 3, we've got hand on the ground, and then I'll show you the bind from behind. If you don't mind, unless you're blind, we're going to come under the body and down and clasping, right? And I'm not going to hang out there because it just doesn't feel good in my body. So I'm going to come up to level 1 because that's what I need today. Good. Inhale and exhale. Let's inhale, come all the way up, straighten through that leg there. Oh, and this time we're going to turn those toes in. I'm going to turn around so that I can actually face everyone here. Face the music, as they say. Oh, well, thank you. Fit and fun. I like that new emote. A little Predator reference there. So we're in that wide-legged stance. I just turned so that I could face you, but you might be facing off to the right edge of your mat. So for those of you who were just really feeling it in that wide-legged forward fold with your with the blocks on the floor, you can go there again. If you want a little shoulder stretch in this second time around, we'll interlace the fingers. Spit and rhymes, that's right. You get a full entertainment show when you come to my yoga classes. So I'm going to turn a little bit so you can see the hand clasp in that side camera. And I'm going to press the knuckles downward. And look, in the side cam, as I push my knuckles down, it opens my chest. Okay? Inhale here. Exhale. We can lean forward. Only if you felt comfortable in that first wide-legged forward fold. Good. So I'm just letting gravity do the work here, letting the fist fall away. If you feel confident in this,
You can use a little bit of muscular action to start to pull the fist closer to the floor. Breathing here. One more. Nice. As you inhale, hands either come to the hips or to your tailbone, depending on which version you are in, and we come all the way back up. Very nice. Release the hands to the hip there. I'm going to grab a sip of water. We're going to stay in this wide-legged position here. We're going to do a little bit of a flow. I think this comes from Qigong. So if you practice Qigong or teach Qigong, forgive me if I butcher this. I was just doing this over the weekend, and I got in such a nice rhythm. It felt really good to breathe, to open my ribs, and drop into the adductors here. Okay, so we start with this wide-legged position. We're a little bit more narrow than where we were for our forward fold. And you'll notice that my feet are pointed outward. So I've got an east and west toe position here. Legs start straight, hands down in front of you. Now we're going to take a big inhale, big sweep of the arms. We're looking up, feel that lift of the chest. Now it's as if I'm pushing the air down. I'm exhaling, and I'm lowering my hips. You can see in the side cam, I'm trying to keep my knees wrapped outwards. Inhale, big sweep, straighten the legs, reach up, look up, and exhale. I imagine that you've got like a large helium balloon that you're pushing down. Good. Inhale. Exhale. And find a rhythm with your breath. I have no idea how many of these we're going to do. I had no idea how many I did over the weekend when I was doing these. I may have done 40 or 50. We're not going to do that many, but see if you can find the groove of your breath. It may even feel nice to close your eyes here, or just softly close your eyes, or just kind of soften your focus in general. So now you've kind of found the rhythm of your own breath, whatever depth that looks like for you. Right, the lower we go, the more we feel it through the inner groin. And really take your time with those breaths. Maybe 5 more here. I like to exaggerate a little bit more back bend when I find a rhythm at the very top. So as I inhale, I'm reaching up, but I'm also arching back a little bit. Exhale. All right, here's our last 2. Good. Inhale, reach up. Bring the hands to the hips. We're going to hop feet in. Boop. And we're going to lower ourselves down to seated. So what we can do like a little scissor lift on down. I'm going to cross my right leg over my left. I'm on the outer edges of my feet here. Going down. And we can come all the way down to that seated position here. I don't know why I got us to our seat. I actually want to be in kneeling, but I wanted to show you that cool little scissor lift lowering down. I'll do our do or do not. There is no try. That's right. So let's come to kneeling. You might be at the top of your mat here. And I want to work a little bit on the splits today. So if you have a pillow or a blanket or blocks or bolster, please get that. Just take a moment here to grab that, because we really want to use something to lift us up here, okay?
especially if you're going to go a little bit deeper in this shape. So I'm really going to be utilizing my blocks here. So we're going to come to kneeling with the left knee down and the right leg forward. Okay? Now you may just start with this half split where you're folded forward. We did this earlier in the class, and you may just revisit this and see if there's any change in your sensation, if you have more access there or feel more connected to that part of your body. If you want to go further, we're going to send that back knee further back. All right, so I'm just opening my splits here. What is Moon eyeing about? Right? So now I'm in a little bit more of a wider split. I'm a long way from my front split, but hey, I'm closer than I was a year or two ago. Okay? So right now I'm using the support of my hands on the blocks here. What can be really helpful, blankets, blocks like that underneath. If you have a block handy, you can also like prop it, and then maybe you can play with reaching up through your arms. Now, if you're more forward hinged, that's going to send more of the emphasis of this stretch into the hamstring. If we're a little bit more upright, now I feel this more coming from my hip flexor of the back leg. Because when we think of the front splits, we have to look at both parts of the equation. We've got the hamstring flexibility in the front part of it. We've got the hip flexor, that muscle right here that kind of runs through our trunk, connects to the spine, and goes all the way to the front of the leg. That gets stretched out here. Woo! I'm going to use more of my hands here. This is intense. I have been sitting a lot of my weekends, so this practice is reminding me that I could have moved a little bit more. And that's okay. I just, remove the judgment, like, oh, gosh, why am I so stiff? Why didn't I do anything? It's like, oh, well, yeah, that's what you get. But, hey, at least the stream looks cool. Nice. So we're going to come out of this slowly. If you have your hands, use a little bend in the knees to come up and get out of this. We'll come into a high kneel for just a moment, which is both knees on the ground, hips forward. And we'll just kind of rock side to side. Maybe you do a little hula hoop action. I didn't even need a voice effect on that. I come with built-in voice effects. All right, let's do the other side. Moon, I still don't know why you yelled. Ah. I don't know if that's an ah or an ah. Let's do the other side split, shall we? So we've got our right knee down on the ground. Our left foot is forward, and we've straightened that leg, okay? And you don't need blocks to rest your hands on. If you've got a bed beside you or a chair that you can quickly grab and lean on, that'll work too. I realize not everybody has these blocks. They're very helpful. I can't stress them enough. I use them all the time for other things. So again, you can stay with this half split where my back thigh is vertical, and then you can just really feel that stretching going out. Oh, you don't usually choose to practice the splits. I know, we don't often either. I don't do it as often as I would like to, so you might start to see some more splits. Although when you come to my class, you do some splits. All right, so we're going to take this a little bit longer by sending the back knee further back. Oh, this hamstring is a different story entirely, and you might feel the same way in your body. I feel a little, kind of like a little nerve thing going on in my glute, probably something related to my sciatic nerve. I don't quite have sciatica, but I feel that type of sensation. It's not even discomfort. It's just an additional tug. Right? And the reason I say this is to give you an example of how you might be constantly taking inventory of the sensations going on through your body. And this is how we practice being able to tune in, right? So we understand not every sensation is just like a 10. Maybe this, for me, I'm practiced in listening to my body. This is maybe like a 3. But it tells me that, hey, I've got to spend a little bit more time on my left. So the reason I kind of talk you guys through my body and what I'm feeling is so that it might give you an idea of, oh, well, what does my body feel like? So that you can kind of leading you to your own internal discoveries. Yeah, I know, splits. They're good though. I almost did middle splits today, but I decided we'd do front splits instead. So again, we can change the bias depending on what you need or want. Some of you just want to get out of this. But a forward lean with a straight spine brings the emphasis to that front hamstring. But as I come upright and reach the arm, which takes some balance, unless I have my handy dandy blocks, if I go upright, maybe even a slight lean back, now I feel my hip flexor, which took some of the stress off of that hamstring there, which is nice. All right, we should come out of this. I've been chatting too long. Let's bring the hand down. We're going to bend that knee, come out of this safely, please, especially in these really big stretches. We're going to come into our tall kneel once more. And we can go side to side. We can hula hoop it around. Pilates Mama, were you able to get in full splits doing gymnastics? And I don't know, were you just a teacher? Did you just teach gymnastics, or were you an athlete as well? Nice, that should leave us feeling a little bit more open through the hips. Let's sit our hips to the side. And we're down onto our tush. Okay, we're going to open the feet out wide. Hands drop back behind you. Lift your chest tall. Flex your toes. So we're just going to pivot on the ankles here, on the heels. We're going to windshield wipe the knees from side to side. Side, side, slippity slide. Nice. Now this is a little bit more mellow with the hands behind you. If you want a little more challenge and to feel some more work out of your core, we sit upright, reach forward. Look, Ma, no hands. Not easy. I know mine looks pretty smooth, but I demo this so much, several times per week. And I've been doing that for a couple of years now. So it didn't always come this easily. Plus, I do a lot of my computer work on the ground. I have like a little floor stand. So I'm constantly doing work in this shape. Just a disclaimer that it takes practice. Exclusively a gymnastics coach. You did some skills, but you were classically trained in theater. You were never able to do the splits. Your pelvis, hips probably don't work like that. Yes. Yeah, and there's something to be said there. Pilates Mama just brought up a good point. Some of these poses and shapes lend themselves well to certain body types, and we all have different structure. And sometimes, especially within hip, sometimes hip structure is so different for everybody. It can really limit how wide we can spread our legs, how long we can split our legs, right? Because that femur bone and the head of the femur that locks into the socket there as we walk, there can be a lot of variations there that are going to dictate what your hips can and can't do to some degree. Good. All righty. Let's come back, or come onto our backs, I should say. You were born with club feet, both legs, so that might have something to do with it. Yeah, too much internal rotation. Yeah, that's interesting. Subu, are you good? You got to go? Oh, you're good. A few more. Perfect. We're going to go lying onto our backs. I just want to do a couple of figure 4 stretches. So we'll start with the feet flat on the floor. We're going to take that right ankle and place it atop the left thigh. Okay. And so this is level 1, super mellow, but this might be enough for you. If you're sitting at home watching and you're sitting in a chair, you can actually do this sitting. If you just cross your, not your leg over your thigh, but your ankle. Make sure to keep that toe flexed there, just kind of keeps that knee a little safer. To go deeper here, we can do a couple of things. We can push that thigh away for more of a passive external rotation. Maybe you use your hip to press the knee on its own, right? If you want a little bit deeper still, we can thread through that hole, grab behind the thigh. Going even further, we grab in front of the left shin. And as I lay back with this, it pulls the left knee into the chest, which adds intensity to my right leg stretch. And it may not seem evident, but I'm actually actively pushing my right knee away, as if I had an invisible hand pushing it. I'm using my hip muscles to create that action. So the same muscles that are experiencing the stretch are also creating a little bit of tension. And that's kind of the secret to gaining usable mobility. Applying your own internal tension to your stretches. It's not all just super jelly passiveness. Nothing wrong with that stuff. It can be really good at calming the nervous system down. But for here, we're working a little bit more on strength and mobility. So we do want to create some muscular squeeze. Nice. Let's place that left foot down if you had it up. We're going to extend that right leg to the sky, and you can grab behind the thigh, behind the calf, the ankle, and just feel that little stretch for 1 second or two. And again, that concept of internal tension, I've got my hands clasped around my thigh here. I'm actually, with my leg, I'm trying to kick downward, but my leg is not allowing that to happen. So my hamstrings that are getting the stretch are also working a little bit. If I were to let go of my hands, right, my leg would fly down. Just to feel that in your body. Good. Right foot down on the ground. Let's do the same thing on the left side. Left ankle comes up, and it plants on top of the right thigh there. Okay? So mellow options first. Just being here. Maybe you're sitting at your desk. A little more intense. We can push away or actively pull that knee away. Then we can start to grab behind the thighs or the shin to go even deeper here. And so if I didn't let my knee push out, this knee would kind of be pointing up towards my face. But I'm going to push that knee, or I should say pull that knee away from my face. Ooh, so remember that little weird sciatic thing that I was feeling? This is a great stretch for it. This is hitting it, so that probably does have something to do with my piriformis area. And that would start to impinge on that sciatic nerve, which then you might start to feel shooting down your leg. If you've ever felt that sensation of like electricity like shooting down your leg, that might be some signs of some sciatic impingement. I'm using all these big words. Good. Lower that right foot to the floor. Send the left leg to the sky. Connect where you can. Maybe that's hamstring, calf, ankle. And just a little bit of kick out from the interlace. Ooh, we're over time here. We'll go for a little twist and then Shavasana. Wonderful. Okay. Letting that leg go there. Bring both knees into your chest. If you know the eagle twist, Garudasana legs, you can go for that. Bye, Subu. Thank you for joining. I'll talk to you soon. I'll maybe see you on Thursday. So let's, what was I saying? Eagle legs are an option here if you know that variation. I do that sometimes to go our normal spinal twists. So knees hug into the chest, roll your whole body to the right. So you're on the right side of your body so that your knees can land here. And then that left arm reaches up and over. Oh, nice. And there is our twist. You may just settle here. Maybe you're just totally fine. If you're somebody who likes to really play with the subtle nuances and feel different stuff in your body, think of your top knee, your left knee. Maybe even look at it. You may notice that that knee has kind of pulled away. It's not flush with your right knee. See if you can even those knees out. Oh, that adds to the twist because we've now pulled the pelvis a little bit more into the rotation. And Panda, this stretch here, this is kind of stretching out some of those oblique muscles. So those muscles that pull us into a twist are now getting passively twisted. And we're breathing. Good. So we'll pull the knees up into the chest, bring the body back to center, and prepare for the other side. I'm going to scooch my hips over to the right edge of my mat just to make this a little bit easier. Knees fall to the left. Whole body falls to the left. Right arm reaches up and over. We're in our spinal twist, just calming things down here. And take a look down at your right knee. I can see that mine has shifted away, so my knees, from my perspective, look like a staircase. Right? So I'm going to try to pull my right knee to be flush, and that just created a little bit more of a twist. If you're happy where you are, you can stay there. Whoops. Ooh, Panda's talking food now. You're going to make me hungry. I have not eaten yet. Which is good, because if I were doing these twists on a full stomach, that wouldn't feel good at all. Nice. So to come out of this twist gently, draw the knees up towards your chest, roll yourself back to center, and extend the legs out long. We're going to be in our final Shavasana for just a few minutes, maybe just a minute or two. Now for final Shavasana, this is corpse pose. So what does a corpse look like? Legs straight, arms down alongside your body, but we want to be comfortable here. So if you feel any tightness into your low back, feel free. That blanket that you may have grabbed for the splits, you can wedge those under your knees. Sometimes in classes, it can be nice to cover your eyes with a blanket or a shirt or an eye pillow if you have one. And we're here to relax and to let go. So as you settle, and you may be sitting in your chair, you can just kind of sit back and lean back and close your eyes. We've let the breath go, meaning we don't have to consciously control it anymore. We can just kind of sit back or lie back and observe how the breath functions on its own. And we can really appreciate how much our bodies do for us behind the scenes without us realizing it, so that we can go about our day. We don't have to think about every inhale and exhale. But when we need it, we can take control of that breath again, to control either when we want to become more excited or if we want to calm the body down. But here we can just be grateful observers. Just imagining yourself like a melting block of ice, just slowly melting into the floor. Take a giant breath in, feel the belly expand like a full balloon. Open mouth, sigh. We begin to move our fingers and toes slowly, mindfully, letting that movement travel up into the wrists, the ankles, to the elbows and knees. And stretch the arms up overhead. Take a breath in. Open the mouth, stick your tongue out. One more time. We're big inhale. Big stretch over the body. As you bring the knees into the chest, allow your body to roll towards one side. And we're going to finish with our 3 rounds of Om. Our 3 rounds of Om. Let me bring my Shruti box. So we'll come up to a seated position. If you were on the floor, if you're chilling out in your seat, you can join in or just enjoy the sounds. The Om chant is just a final closing chant. Some say it's the sound of the universe. If you don't want to get woo-woo with it, you could just think about it as one final piece of movement in today's class, the movement of vibration as we create sound. And as we change the shape of the sound, Aum, the vibration moves from the chest Aum, to the throat, to the head when we get into that M, or the humming phase of the Hopefully you can hear this Shruti box here. I'm going to get a little bit closer so you can hear it. We're sitting up tall, hands on the thighs or hands at the heart. We can close the eyes. We're going to take one preparation breath before we start. Inhale. Exhale, breathing everything out. Inhale for our first of 3 Oms. Thank you all for coming and joining me in class today. I hope your hips feel nice and open after that. Thank you so much. Namaste.